Hello and welcome to Cutter Farms. We're back with another episode of UMRV, Upper Mississippi River Valley, and today I'm hoping we can wrap up all of our fall activities here. We've been quite busy getting the slurry situation under control with the biogas plant up and running now, but we do need to wrap up the last of the soybeans out here in this field. We're almost there, just a couple of rounds left I think, but we're getting all full up here. I'm emptying out the grain cart and we got to rush down to the other end of the field here. I think the combine was just getting full when we hopped into the grain cart here. I'm excited because this playthrough has been going very well. We've made a lot of progress in the last few episodes. I feel like everything's really starting to come together now, although we are in unreasonable amounts of debt at the moment. We've got to work our way back out of that. However, that's going to come, I think, naturally as we continue to get this new dairy operation up and running self-sufficiently. I am feeling pretty good about where we're at because we've got all of the cows full up on food, or at least the two main barns are full up on food now. The one with our younger cows in them, I think we still need some food there. We're burning down the last bits of hay that we fed them, but I've got a solution for that. We're going to jump into the mower and we're going to mow up some of this, call it ditch grass or field edge grass, and I think that's going to give us enough to hopefully keep things going through the winter here. We'll find out though. It looks like the combine here is almost done. We've got one more pass after this, maybe two. It's hard to tell, but it's gonna be done in no time. Let's see, I'm trying to sync my speed up. Is that gonna work? There we go. This should be enough to top off that semi. We've gotten quite a few beans off of this field. I've been pleasantly surprised with how many loads we've had to haul back up to the bin site. Sometimes I feel like when we're harvesting beans, I'm used to the volumes of crop you get with something like corn, and I always feel underwhelmed with how few trips we need to make. But this has been a really well yielding field for us. It looks like the combine is all emptied out, so let's get moving here. I want to get that truck back up to the yard, get it unloading, and we'll grab the mower and bring it out to the field here and start hitting some of that grass over there. I want to get as much hay as we can off of that section of the field, especially since we're going to combine these fields for next year and turn this into a large hay / alfalfa field, I think. I haven't decided yet. When we did alfalfa earlier, I didn't feel like we got that much yield out of it. However, maybe it will be a different this time and we just need to give it another shot. So I think that's going to be the plan. I think we're going to put some alfalfa out in this field. And as expected, we're all full up there. I'll just spin this around. I think we might have to empty the combine one more time. I'm not quite sure. Either way, we'll need to get it out of the combine and into a truck at some point. So I'll just put this over here. We got plenty of room. We'll probably even mow up some of this area when we're all said and done, but we've got time for that. Realistically, this truck is probably parked poorly for trying to get it back out of this field while full. I should have probably turned it around before we loaded it up. Well, thankfully we're up on the top of the hill, not too wet or anything up here. I would be more worried about it if we were in a low spot, but all of the fields here are fairly high compared to the waterway we've got down here alongside the edge of our pasture. Oh, and there's the swather. We've already brought it out to the field to get started here. I forgot all about that. That's going to work out really well for us. We're missing the driveway a little bit here because that bale was in our way. That's all right. And I'm still getting used to seeing the BGA over here across from the farm. I know a lot of people were suggesting I should use the larger tanks from the pumps and hoses pack, and then it would move through that slurry a lot faster, and that's probably true, but this area where I wanted to build it is not as flat as I was hoping, and so it's proven to be a little bit difficult to level the terrain out. So I was looking for something small and compact, which is why we went with this smaller BGA. And it's in theory as big as the largest base game BGA. I think this is a 150 kilowatt hour facility, so we should process through a fair amount of slurry, I think. Once we get going, I think we'll catch up. I'm not too worried about it, but we'll find out, I guess, if we're actually able to keep up after we start moving the days forward, or if we need a second one, or what we're going to do. I'm not sure, but we'll sort it out. Get the beans unloaded here, though, into the bins, and we can get on with some hay, because that's our big priority for today, is to get the rest of that hay picked up so that we can finish feeding our cows and get them all loaded up so I can start skipping larger amounts of time as we move through the winter months. From a crops perspective, I don't think there's a lot to do in the winter, since almost all of our crops here are the soybeans, and they don't sell until the following summer. So we're going to be set there. And we don't really have any other crops. We silage chopped all of our corn this year because I wanted to make sure we had enough feed with the increased feed requirements of the enhanced animal mod, which I think I'm liking a lot. I'm not sure yet. I'll tell you if I think I'm liking it. I was stressed out about feed before we installed that mod, and to see the food requirements skyrocket has been quite concerning. But I believe we're making more money as a result, especially because we're going to sell off all of the calves that are going to go into overflow automatically, which is great. I don't know, it just seems to generally work better for us. I think this time we're going to leave the truck down here near the entrance. I can always come back down here with the grain cart to top off the semi. It's not a big deal, and that's going to save us from having to go up that big hill with the semi here. I think we're probably ready now to get in here and start working on the hay. What I want to do for starters, though, is we are going to leverage some GPS to do this. There's no field here, at least not right now. And so I think to make sure that we're not missing a bunch, and to help us when it comes to baling, since I'm going to have to do that manually as well, I want to get a GPS line going right along the edge of the field here. So let me go ahead and get that all turned on. Get this lowered, and off we go. I love how fast this thing is. Even though it's not the widest work area, it's just a speedy little machine. And even though I'm going in a straight line, you can see we're losing just a smidge of grass here. I'm gonna scoot the lines over on our GPS a bit just to not be missing the grass, because I think there's going to be a perfect 2 rounds for us in between the field here, and I'd rather get that and have it all look nice and neat. It looks like it's going to be an ongoing problem. It looks like this field is just ever so off straight, such that as we continue to go, because I'm on a 270-degree course with the map, the field is getting further and further and further away from me. Well, rather than monkeying with it over and over again, I think we're just going to live with this. We're going to accept our little smidge of grass over there and just go with it. And then down here on the end, I think we're just going to do, an immediate turn right back into the next row. And much like this other side, we'll slowly regain more grass the further and further down we go, I'm pretty sure. This should be a fair amount of hay, I'm hoping, even though it's not fertilized because it's not on a field. It's just, I don't know, mat grass, whatever we want to call that. I think this is going to be a fair amount of bales for us and really help us with getting our feed situation resolved. However, let's jump into a little bit of a time lapse while we knock out the little bit of mowing that we've got to do here. Well, I certainly did not plan on this field being so large. Well, it's not really the field that's so large. I didn't plan on coming down here and taking all the grass alongside this other field, but once we got started, it just kind of made sense to follow this along. I was just trying to give myself a little bit more room to turn around by the creek there, and next thing you know, we've added a whole nother field's worth of grass into the mix, which is great. We're gonna get a ton of hay off of all of this. So I think the last bit we need to do here is just take this path up between the fields real quick, and we'll be set. I'm not going to be too picky about it. I think maybe there's going to be a little strip left here after we take one round, but we'll see how wide it is. I've got the combine all the way over there. I'm pretty sure it finished harvesting while we were doing this as well. So I think we're well on our way to being able to start moving out of the month of October here. I don't think there's any other field work left that needs to be done. I guess maybe we need to get out here and do some tillage on a couple of these fields, but that won't take long, and it's something we can kind of get going in the background and let the workers run on that while we're doing other things like selling off all of these bales. My goodness, we've got a ton of soybean straw here that we need to take up to a sell point. And I appreciate all the comments. I know a lot of people left comments on where I was trying to sell the bales last time, that I was just missing the actual bale dropping zone. So we'll have to look at the price, and if that sell point is the better price, we'll have to go down there and give it another shot selling some more bales. We've got quite a few bales out here though, so it's going to be a number of trailer fulls to get those all run up to the town here and get them sold. So we'll have to get that truck moving again and figuring that out for sure, because we could use every little bit of profit available to us. And I'm looking over here, we got more grass left than I thought. Maybe we will run the mower back up one more swath and get the rest of this, just because that's got to be a couple of bales worth at least. Now here I'm gonna just mow this freestyle because there's just this awkward corner left here. Oops, I thought I lifted the mower deck up. Oh my goodness, this hill. We're all over the place. Gotta be careful on these side hills. Gonna just completely lose control of the mower one day, end up in the creek. All right, yeah, this is worth it. This is worth heading back down here one more time to get all of this. I was thinking it was going to be a skinnier swath, but this is going to turn out to be quite nice. And that's going to just wrap it up. I guess I still got a couple of little spots on the far end here that we need to go finish up as we head on out of the field. But I'm excited. We got a lot more done than I thought. But I'm looking over here, it looks like the 7810 might have run out of fuel, actually. We're going to have to see if it's got enough to run that back up to the yard and get it refueled so I can get out here and keep that baler moving. There's a lot more baling to get done than I thought. But first, let's grab these last few bits of grass here. We can't leave any blade uncut today. And man, these side hills, we're going to lose it into the ditch one of these times. There's that, and it looks like I've got just a little triangle up here we'll grab most of. Perfect. All right, I think we're good to go. I'm gonna run this guy up to the farm now. One of these days, we need to build like a little bridge into our yard from this side of the creek, so I don't have to go all the way around. That would be awesome. I think I've seen some kind of constructed bridge mods in Farm Sim. That would be neat to play around with potentially. Let's see if I could just drop something in there. Now, I was gonna mow this part. Let's try it real quick. This hill is a little bit crazy, but I think we could get at least one round out of it, and that would be all that many more bales. I'm not gonna try and mow the sides. Of course, I left the grain cart in the way, but I think I could do there and back up on top here at least. I mean, if I got really desperate, we could go down and do the ditch part by the road, and I mean, all kinds of stuff. I've definitely seen people mowing ditch grass in different areas, so it's not completely unrealistic. Not just mowing, but I guess mowing and baling the ditch grass. We'll leave that guy running. We're going to jump right back over into him in a few minutes here and get the combine emptied out. We're just trying to finish up a job before I move on to bouncing around all the other jobs that are currently waiting on me. Most of the time I like to try and keep all the workers going, but as we wind up the jobs on the farm here at the end of fall, it's kind of proving difficult to keep in front of everybody because everybody's kind of getting done and getting to that stage where I have to figure out what we're doing next. I think I need to get this a 9RT switched over onto the tillage tool though pretty soon so that we can start plowing up the couple of cornfields that we've got. That's the last order of business here in the fall, I think, is to get all of those fields plowed up. I want to say I already did the one across the road over there, but we've got this last field over here that we spread the manure on in the previous episode. I think we finished up all of our manure spreading, and we just now need to kind of get it mixed in with the field cultivator. I think actually we're running a chisel plow, which is going to do a little bit deeper tillage, but either way it's going to get all of that manure incorporated in, and we'll be able to get rid of the stalks and our plow modifier penalty. Now, I don't think there's any more hay to cut this year. We're already into the middle of October, which is probably getting to be a bit late to be cutting hay anyway. So I'm gonna run this all the way down to the other shed here, and we're gonna get it parked, driving right through the cows today. Put it right over here on this side. There we go. And as long as we're back up at the farm, I'm gonna start this thing up. We're gonna see how much of that I can dump in. Not much. It's only been a couple of hours, but I was kind of hoping for more, to be honest. And yep, we've got no fuel left here in the 7810, which means we need to run this guy up to the farm and get this going. We'll drop the bale off the back here that we've got just to make sure we're not dropping it somewhere along the way. And we are indeed done with the soybeans, it looks like, so I'm not in a rush to get the combine started on anything else. We just need to get those beans emptied out and brought back up to the farm. And all of that equipment needs to get dragged back up to the farm as well. I'll put the cruise control on for a minute here while we look at the map. We do need to plow field 7. That's the cornfield across the way here. It's also covered in weeds, but given that a plow should take care of the weeds for the year as well. I don't think we need to do herbicide if we actually do something that plows. I can't quite remember how that works in precision farming, but I want to say that's how it goes. And for some reason, I thought this tractor only had 18 gears. I'm suddenly surprised to find gear 19 here waiting for me to jump up into. My bad. I guess I'm used to the older school tractors. I know our 4850, I think it was on the farm, only had 18 gears. Maybe it was 15 now that I think about it. No, it had to be 18. Who knows? I say who knows. Somebody out there in the audience definitely knows. I don't know. All right, we're all filled up on fuel. That was a quick pit stop. Let's go ahead and get right back out to the field. And thank you in the comments to all the people who reminded me all I needed to do was paint grass to get rid of those big bushes. Although after doing so, I've got a couple of pieces of grass stuck there now that I can't seem to get rid of. But I'd rather have the 2 little pieces of grass than a whole bunch of bushes. We're going to do the same thing over here in this ditch when I get a chance. I just noticed that. I had forgotten all about it. But that's a great tip. It's kind of wonky that that's how you have to do it, but it works. No complaints. As long as we have a solution, I can work around it. That's okay with me. I have to say, I love the new course play mode, and new to FS22, where it shows you within the course kind of where the points are that you need to be using. It has made resuming a course manually so much easier than it used to be. I just love this. I can just drive right back down here to where we were and continue the course. You could always continue the course in the previous versions, but knowing where you were in the course was so much harder, I feel like. So I'm gonna let that guy go, and we're gonna come in here and turn off course play. We're gonna drive this combine up to the other end of the field, and we'll get it unloaded into the semi. I don't think that I need this course anymore. The baler has a copy of it, and I don't think I actually need the grain cart at all. because there's no grain in the grain cart right now, and everything that's in the combine, I can just put it right in the truck. There's no need to have the middleman involved. And I feel like by the time I'm done getting all of this other equipment up to the yard, the combine, the grain cart, etc., the baler will probably be done with these last few rounds. He goes pretty fast on these nice long up and down rows. Doesn't have to do a ton of turning around. So I'll be able to immediately jump over into that baler and start working on the hay. Actually, I do have grain in the grain cart. Well, what do you know? Let's go ahead and just dump the rest of our soybeans into that then, and that'll let me just unload one thing into the semi. I really shouldn't be doing it backing down this hill like I am, but it's not that bad, right? It's kind of flatter here than I thought it was. The camera was at a deceiving angle. We're also running low-ish on fuel in this combine again. We'll need to get this up to the yard and fill it up before we put it away. Well, I don't know. Normally, I guess we'd drain a lot of the fuel out of the combine before we stored it for the winter, so maybe we'll leave it as is. But I am going to drive it right back up into the yard at least. I think we want to get it washed up and figure out where we're going to park the bean head for the winter and all that good stuff. We'll probably do the repairs on it, all that goodness, now that we're done for the year. Get it all ready to go so that when we want to use it next time, we don't have to monkey with anything. We can just hop in and go, because that's how it works on the farm, right? Nobody has to spend a long time getting the combine ready every fall to get out in the field. Oh, we're gonna take that sign out again. My goodness. And back out here in the field for our final grain cart unload of the season, a whopping 370 bushels. Exciting times. All right, we're all emptied out. In the process of trying to line up, it looks like I put some in both hoppers. How annoying. Well, let's get the pipe all folded up and bring this back up to the yard. I need to get that tillage moving out in the other field here as kind of our final job of the fall. I want to make sure we're able to keep everything moving here on the farm. And this tractor's only got 18 gears. What do you know? I thought I'd lost my tillage equipment for a minute. I didn't see it parked on the other side there. I was starting to stress out, like, where did I leave that? How are we going to do our tillage if I can't find the tillage equipment? I think leaving it right about there should do us. Someday I'd really like to drive one of these tractors in real life just to see how they actually handle. I've always found them to be just a little bit weird in Farm Sim. The idea of driving a two-tracked vehicle with a steering wheel is just weird. I can't wrap my mind around it. So that's why I'd love to see one of these in real life and just see how it actually handles, how it feels when you're driving. I don't know. I think it'd be fun. However, we've got the chisel plow all hooked up here. I'm going to go ahead and get this out to the field here so that we can get a course going and start working on plowing that field. That is field 7 over there. So maybe what we'll do is just do this. Field 7. See ya. Try not to take everything out on the way. Oh, the mailbox again. Well, while that guy works his way over to field 7, let's go ahead and jump back into the semi. We'll get this all emptied out. It'll be the last of our beans up into the bins here, and we can take a look and see just how many total bushels we ended up with for the year. All right, I got to remember we've got 2 different hoppers here to empty out. Almost there. All emptied out. We'll shut that down, and let's take a look at what we've got. Step away from the corn dryer. I don't know why the corn dryer is running. We don't have any corn. Now, I can look on this screen and see I have 188,000 liters, which is going to net me a potential max of $500,000, which is going to be a nice way towards paying things off. I think if I come into this screen, though, I can actually see the bushel amount. I can't because it's in a production. Does our production convert, though? That's the question. It does. We've got 5,336 bushels of soybeans. Look at that. Very nice. And our slurry is just continuing to go here a little bit at a time, running away. I'm quite happy with having that all set up. The thing that we haven't checked, though, in just a little while is our actual animal pens. So as you can see, we're burning down this hay. We've got less than a day, less than 24 hours until we've burned through that, and I need to start putting TMR in there, which requires me to get that hay picked up. And then over here, you can see we're starting to burn through our TMR in both of these others, but we're still pretty good. The slurry is starting to pile up here, though. So we are going to run into a problem where we might not be keeping up with this thing like I'd hoped. But let's jump in here. The thing that we need to get doing is this tractor on a course play course. 2 headlands ought to be more than enough. We're going to start on the center. We're going to do up-down rows. Generate. You do you, sir. Looks good to me. First waypoint and go. We're going to crank up the speed control here, the cruise control, so that he can go what we've got set in course play. And we had just a little bit of TMR left in the mixer here. We might as well drop that off. And we'll bring this right back up into the yard here. We are going to need to figure out the whole hay bales into the mixer thing again. That's all right. We'll probably just drop them right up next to the TMR mixing area here, the harvest stores, and that way I can toss a couple bales in, make a load, and run it up to a barn like we've been doing in the past. That's been working really well for us, and I think we'll probably continue that way. We'll see. Either way, this is a great place to park the TMR mixer. And we've got this all set. I'm just going to tab through our equipment for a minute here. We'll start this guy up. I think I just did this, so I don't think there's anything to empty, but we'll give it a shot. Not so much. That's going to be a problem soon. And then we've got these soybean straw bales that we've forgotten about all episode. I just want to check these out real quick right here. And then scrolly all the way down to here. Soybean straw is Rudy's Feed Store, which is awesome for us. And it's not that big of a delta from the top end price. Not worth hanging on to all these bales with how many loads it's going to take. So I'm going to go ahead and start this guy up, and we're going to send him down to Rudy's Feed Store because this does take a minute to drive all the way across the map. It's one of those things where I like the feeling of a 4X map and that there's so much area. And then I do things like play in a small corner of the map. Although we do own quite a big chunk of this small corner of the map. There's just a lot more area down here that we don't really explore on a regular basis. We've done some contracts and stuff down here, I guess. But then when you need to run something up to the shop or the sell point, it takes a minute. Which is kind of a double-edged sword for me. I like the realistic feeling, and then I get annoyed with just how long it takes to drive around sometimes. But we're going to send that guy on his way. He's good to go. And coming back out here, like I said, right as we get all the other things dealt with, it looks like we're on our final pass with the 7810 on the straw bales here, which is, I think, an awesome spot to wrap up today's episode. We got a lot of work done on the field today. All of our fall work just about is in the final stage. I think that plowing over there is the last real work we have to do. We got to pick up all these bales, and we got to go bale that hay. So I think we'll save those things for next episode. Yeah, we're almost done with fall. Another year in the books just about. Looking forward to it. Hopefully you've enjoyed the episode. If you have, hit that like button. It helps me out a lot. And that's all for today. Ketterk out.